I showed up for work one day at Madam Secretary, and I opened the door to my dressing room, and there were like 25 pairs of Manolo Blahnik high heel shoes and all this lingerie, and I was like, what's happening here?
My newest chat with Tim Daly coming up.
Oh yeah. You're really nailing these things, I think, at this point in your life, the perspective. That's what I'm getting from you.
So fucking old. If you don't get perspective, I don't know what else you get a senior discount at the grocery store.
You're gonna look back at this and be like, I was so young then. You are, just so you know, I was so young then. What was I talking about? You know, it's like you look at people now, and if they're talking about, oh, okay, I'm getting older, I can deal with it, and they're like 40. It's like, okay, you don't even know old, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I was so young when I was talking about how old I am.
Well, maybe.
Yeah,
although when I think about it's like the number that is associated with your being. When I think about when I was in my early 20s and stuff, I mean, I couldn't find my ass with both hands. Mm-hmm. I was a disaster area in a lot of ways. And, if you hang around the planet long enough, certain stuff kind of sinks in. You have experiences. You realize that not everything is as important as you think it is when you're a teenager in your early 20s.
Yeah.
And I think the main thing, for me anyway, about getting older is you realize that you're not alone. I mean, all this shit that you've experienced and all the anxiety and shame and stress and all this stuff, it's like, you're not that unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I mean, it's kind of two parallel things that are happening simultaneously and seem contradictory. One is you're totally unique. You are the snowflake that's unlike any of the other billions and billions of snowflakes that fall from the sky. On the other hand, you're just like everybody else. Mm-hmm. You have,
yeah.
you wake up, you brush your teeth, you eat, you sleep, you love, you have problems, all that stuff that we grind over thinking that we're just this isolated being on a rock of existence. No. Everybody is struggling, and all these struggles are similar. You can find someone, and they will say, "I went through the exact same thing," or "I know
for
something."
Sure.
Like
yeah, for sure. So you can also, but you're saying like as you get older, you just learn these things, you get perspective, but not everybody does. So I do believe that it's a choice in some way to reflect in this way, in a more like putting it all together in a positive way, learning from it. Not everybody wants to learn from life or from the things that they did or their experiences. So
they don't want to change.
Yeah, they don't want to change, but life is a beautiful opportunity to change and change and change. Like you can change forever.
It's going to happen whether you like it or not.
That's true.
So you might as well embrace it and try to make the most of it.
Because I think change is amazing. I love change personally. It's my preference over stagnancy. I don't like things to be the same, which is why I just moved across the country. But I like things to change, so I think that's a good thing to be able to embrace change. But you're right, people fear, and there's that fear word again. Mm-hmm. People fear change, and so that. Okay, so the gratitude for the negative experiences or the difficult times, that's also good. They're gifts because those are the things that cause you to grow. Mm-hmm. That which doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Nietzsche.
There you go.
So, all right. So, what else are you what are you grateful for? What are some of the things that you would have told yourself this morning or last night or whenever you practice gratitude?
Oh gosh, I mean, so much from the little things like my, the beautiful. I have a lot of love in my life. That's the main thing. For my accomplice, for my family, for my children. And that, when all else fails, I think about that and how that sustains me. So that mostly.
Okay, so those are not hardships, though.
Oh, you're asking me for the hardships?
Mm-hmm. Well, pause for a second. I'll ask you for the hardships because I, of course, have to ask you about your accomplice, which everybody wants to know. How is your accomplice? We're talking about Téa Leoni?
We might be.
Okay. If we were talking about her, how are things with your accomplice? How is your accomplice?
She's, I mean, she's a miracle. You know, I never thought that I would experience something like that at my age, and I was sort of, I'd sort of come to terms with, like, you know, maybe being alone or maybe being some kind of casual thing that wasn't really too demanding, and then we met and it all changed, and it's the deepest, most fun, most truly intimate relationship I've ever had.
So why do you think that is? Like, what's different? What makes it like that?
I mean, listen, the thing is that all of us human beings, I believe, I'm getting very philosophical. People are going to turn this off and go, oh.
Well, they don't, because you've gotten philosophical in our other talks, and guess what? They don't turn it off.
I think that everybody wants to be seen. That is, you know, a human trait. We want someone to see us. And if we get into a place where we allow someone to really see us, everything, and they can look at that and say, okay, I'm okay with this, all this good stuff and all that bad stuff, then it's like a profound relief to be able to be your entire self and know that someone is not going to blame you or try to change you in a way that's punishing or belittle you for the things that you have that are human flaws. But, you know, try to help you and try to, you know, encourage you to improve without trying to fix you. So all that stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So there's something about her that helped you trust that she would do that, would be like that with you? Or were you at a time in your life where you were ready to expose yourself in that way?
I think all the above, you know. And I was, talking about fear, I was terrified because basically she said to me, give it all, give me everything, tell me the whole story, all the shit, all the stuff you've done that you're not proud of, that you're ashamed of, blood, just tell me and I'll deal with it. And I was like, okay, thinking that perhaps I would get annihilated, you know, that I would step on the landmine that was in the minefield or the eggshell that was out there. And so I took that risk and I laid it all out, and she was like, okay, let's do this. Like, wow. You know, and it was and has been an amazing thing, and feels not punishing at all. And some of my relationships I felt punished in.
Right, which would make you think that future relationships would as well, because that was your history.
Yeah,
That's what you knew.
Yeah, look, whenever I talk to people, I always say, young people especially, like, just go out and love people, you know? Get your heart broken. Who cares? It's not going to stay broken. Just be open to it and let it happen. And you know, that can be really painful. You can go through a lot of rough stuff doing that. But the payoff is that you have a chance of finding something that's really profound and significant and deep and you know, amazingly joyous.
Yeah.
So it's worth the risk, because you know, the other thing that I've discovered, you know, hanging around this planet is that feelings are, we ascribe things to feelings that are negative. Like, oh, come on, cheer up, you're so sad, don't be so angry, you know. And it's like, no. Feel your sadness, feel your anger, feel your stuff, because for me, the analogy that I have is that, you know, at times in my life when I've been in trouble, I've had a feeling of some sort that sort of goes into me and it like velcros onto my soul or my heart or my brain or someplace, and it becomes this thing, this impediment to me moving forward. But if I feel stuff, it just kind of flows through, and it's not like I didn't experience it, but it's gone.
Right.
And so it'll come again, but and the thing is, I've said this, I think, to you before, everything's a practice. We fill our lives with these finish lines. If I only had this much money, if I only had this job, if I only had this, if I only could get there, then everything would be solved. No. We still have to get up, brush our teeth. The bed doesn't stay made once you make it. The dishes still stay clean. You don't go to the gym once and you stay in shape. Everything is a practice.
Yeah.
And if you can find some ease with that, then I think probably live longer and more fulfilled life and happier, all those things.
Well, definitely, that's the whole philosophy of therapy in the first place. Also, it's like, you have to experience them. Don't run anymore from those feelings.
And don't push them down.
No, because then they stay in that place. They stay in that place and then they explode out.
Yeah.
Exactly. But if you just feel them, allow them to come through you, this is life. Like, sometimes when I feel low, I think to myself, I'm living life. Like, this is life. I'm doing it. I'm doing life. And that's part of it. You don't want to have a life that doesn't have all the feels, honestly.
Right.
Nobody calls them feels anymore, but I did like that word, that term, feels. You got to feel the feels. It's true. Okay, so that's good. I have so many things I need to go back on. Like, this is probably not going to be used much because I have all the things that you already said. Okay, so relationships, and not only, because you said also that yes, there's pain that you could experience if you take the leap and just put yourself out there completely. It reminds me of the movie, because we always do talk about TV and movies too, of Something's Gotta Give with Diane Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Oh.
Remember that on the Hamptons?
Yes, vaguely, yes.
I forgot her name. I want to say somebody Myers, Nancy Myers movie.
Myers, yeah.
So I remember there was a scene with Diane Keaton and her daughter Amanda Peet in the movie, and Amanda Peet was like, "Mom, you got to protect yourself. Like, you don't want to get hurt from a guy." And then she said exactly what you said. Diane Keaton said exactly what you said, which is, no, you don't want to protect yourself. You want to put yourself out there, and you want to get hurt. It's fine. You want to get all of the things, experience the pain if you have to, but it's better than not putting yourself out there, protecting yourself, and not having any
right. And that sort of brings us back to change, which will happen, and those feelings will change.
They will change, and you'll learn something from them, and then you can be grateful for them.
There
you
go.
can be grateful for the
that
pain.
pain. There you go. Okay,
right,
we solved life. Whew, that was easy.
We always solve life. And I don't know, we still have ways to solve it again, and we'll solve it again in the future, but we're not done yet. All right, so the gratitude, we have to go back to the t-shirts. What else is going on a t-shirt?
Oh gosh, I have to look at my list.
Okay, your list. Is it far? Do you know where it is? Is it on your iPad or something?
Yeah, but I don't want to give it all away. Someone's going to steal all my ideas.
They're going to make
they're good.
A line of shirts.
They're good.
And they're going to put your face on them.
They're good. No, I'm not. I'm not going to reveal anymore.
Okay, so one of my favorite sayings is, "It is what it is," and people hate that. What do you think of that?
I think it's okay. I think it's appropriate at certain moments. I have I think that the wisest saying ever said, and I don't know, and probably no one knows who first said it, but that is, shit happens.
Yeah.
And
that's the same thing.
Maybe it's the same thing. And the thing about that is that,
similar.
Well, again, it brings us back to the finish line thing, and everything could be going great, and then shit happens. I mean, and the one thing that Téa, I said her name, didn't I? Damn it! One of the things that she always says that I've known, but this is a really concise way of saying it, is that it's not the mess, it's the cleanup. And I think that's absolutely right, because shit happens. You can be going along great and something will go wrong. Someone will be in pain, someone will die, someone will be hurt, someone will, say something cruel or be angry. And how you deal with it is the hallmark of a successful life, not trying to avoid it, because you can't avoid the shit. It's gonna come for you.
That's right.
Because you're a human being, you're on this planet, and nobody gets out of here alive.
Right.
And nobody gets out of here without experiencing some of the stuff that we all experience, the feels.
The feels. Thank you.
So, you know, when it comes, it's having it's maybe having some tools to navigate the hard stuff.
Yeah.
And if you can do that and let it flow through, then you're on to the next.
Yeah. I mean, that's why it's not your circumstances that necessarily impacts your life as much as it, because there can be people who've had serious challenges and they're okay. And then there are people who haven't and they're not so okay. So it's not about what happens in life. It is about how you react to it. And you do have choices. Like, you can decide how to react to a situation if you're aware that you're making the decision.
Right. Well, being present and conscious is huge. We're talking about therapy. Maybe you should be a therapist. Anyway, and being able to have that moment of pause, and rather than being reactive, just say, like, what is my best course here? You know, and that's not to say that, you know, we don't make mistakes and react in a way that's maybe inappropriate or just knee-jerk to something. But, you know, being able to just say, what am I going to do here?
Okay, so I'm thinking of something just off topic, but sort of on topic, which is, so you and Téa met when you were on Madam Secretary. Or I don't know if you met before that, but that's when you started becoming intimate.
Yeah.
So now that ended like years ago now. How many years has it been? It's a few years.
4 years, 5 years, something like that.
So it's interesting that you were great in that, with that situation, and your environment now is totally different.
Yeah.
You're not working together. And so has it changed at all? Like, was it more something then or more something now?
Oh, it's better.
Better now.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's funny because I'm pretty sure that there were a lot of eyes rolling on set and a lot of nervous people being like, oh God, when this blows up, it's going to be a disaster. Oh, on set romance. And, you know, and we were a little bit before Me Too, so we didn't, we could kind of have our romance without having to be so careful about it, you know, all the stuff. And we did actually, there was I'm not sure if it was actually called, this was called a love contract that you were supposed to fill out for CBS, saying we're in a relationship and we're at work together, so if things go badly, we're not going to, you know, bring it to work. But we never did.
Oh, you didn't sign it?
No, we never signed it, and we never brought our shit to work.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, you guys have there's something going on that you've approached the whole thing in a healthy way, it seems like to me. I don't know much about your relationship, only the few things that you've told me.
It's pretty
good.
Spectacular.
I also love the fact that she said, give me all of it. Like, she literally said that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. And it's funny also, you know, and it was so surprising for me. I showed up for work one day at Madam Secretary, and I opened the door to my dressing room, and there were like 25 pairs of Manolo Blahnik high heel shoes and all this lingerie, and I was like, what's happening here? Téa was like, well, like, you know, why do we have separate dressing rooms? Why don't I just be in there? I'm like, oh, okay. And first I was like, wait, my space, my problem. I was like, no, she wants to be with me so badly that she's moved her high heels into my room. So like, I better take this. This is a good thing.
That's really a good thing. I mean, that's really quite a sign of.
And her dressing room turned into a place where we would take naps. At lunchtime, we looked like cadavers. We would lie next to each other and just pass out for about 18 to 20 minutes. We got so good at it, and then we could continue on with our day.
So how was it on set? Like, are sets difficult, or are they okay?
Oh, it depends.
Or it depends on the set.
It depends. The Madam Secretary set was the best set I've ever been on, and I think that's largely because of Téa, largely because of me, largely because of Eric Stoltz, who is our executive producer director, and largely because
Eric Stoltz, the actor?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And largely because of Laurie McCreary, who was also our executive producer. I mean, you know, there's that cliche about it being a family. It was a freaking family. I mean, our DP came and saw my show last night, and every person on that set, with almost no exception, I would be happy to have dinner with, from the guys that pulled cable to the, you know, people in hair. Everybody was funny, compassionate, sometimes ridiculously well educated and intelligent. Like, there were 3 people on the set who, you know, if you didn't have your phone, you didn't have Google, you just asked them, because one of them was going to know the answer.
So if you were on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or something, you
Oh,
would be
God,
able to call
I mean,
them. Anybody
yeah.
on just call the Madam Secretary set.
Yeah, just wonderful people. And, you know, but it is weird, because in this profession, you work with people intensely, in this case for years, and then you go away, and it's like, you know, your family is broken up. But when you see them again, even if years have gone by, it's like it's the next day.
I love that.
You know, and the thing about actors that is interesting, and also can maybe be sort of dangerous, but also sort of wonderful, is that our stories and our emotions and our experiences are our currency. That's what we use to do our job. So almost inevitably, a group of actors get together, and when they start on a project, you get to know each other so intimately, so quickly, because you talk about this stuff that triggered an emotion or an experience or a kind of behavior, and, you know, it's all out there on the table.
That's interesting, right? Because you're giving yourself.
Yeah.
But so that was the best set.
Yes.
What was the worst?
You know that phrase, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's not one of the ones that I would put on a t-shirt. At least in this scenario.
Yeah, not in this. I worked on a set of a show, and